Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Dana Day Pet Memorial Service. Dana is selfless giving. Today's offertory will be given to the Hawaii Federation of Buddhist Women's Association's Dana Project. The organization donates funds to several local nonprofit charities every year. We'll begin with the ringing of the kancho. The ringing of the kancho signifies the start of the service. Please sit quietly. Please rise for meditation, followed by the chanting of Vandana Tisarana by the congregation in Pali and English. The Vandana Tisarana will be found in the brown book called Praises of the Buddha on page 165. Thank you.
고맙습니다.
Please be seated. We'll now have an aspiration by Reverend Sumikawa.
On this Dana Day, let us remember that loving words will cost but little, journeying up the hill of life. But they make the weak and weary stronger, braver for the strife. So as up life's hill we journey, let us carry all the way kindly words to be as sunshine in the dark and cloudy day. At the Wynwood Buddhist Temple, we also observe this day as a memorial for our animal companions. Pets are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas because they teach the 6 paramitas: selfless giving, virtuous and ethical conduct, patience, effort, meditation and concentration, and wisdom. Pets teach unconditional love and give selflessly and are non-judgmental. They also teach us about impermanence, and often a pet's death is the first experience that we as children encounter with mortality. So we thank all the pets that come across our life, from early childhood to adulthood, for teaching us so many life lessons and how to live a better life. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida.
Today we will remember the pets who have passed away in our lives. Reverend Sumikawa will hit the gong several times to start this portion of the service. And when your pet's name is read, please come forward to offer incense. After the last name is read and incense has been offered, Reverend Sumikawa will hit the gong several times, and we'll go directly into the sutra for today. The sutra is the Jusei found in the Red Book on page 54. Thank you. Laddie Yanagisawa. Dumper and Tofu Miyamoto. Coconut and Missy Tashiro. Brownie Wasai. Mickey, Mindy, and Miji Bird Ochikubo. Suki Arakaki. Maxi Kugia and Kona Kugia.
묘쇼 조이포 응여미쇼몬 대부조쇼라 리역진쇼네 조에슈방여 지금의조도 이쇼대닝시 진리기엔다이고 의조무사이도 쇼료사금여 고사이슈야그난 가이지에게 메시코모아 에이소크쇼아그노 스다르미프쇼 오쇼조마소 이요로지포 니지간슈주키 대고후게 이슈가요소 그덕호 요다이슈주 세포시시글 그여이사이브 그소그슈도그혼 가네신조만 도그이상하여 묘문무게시 저단미부쇼 나나그에리 도시사이쇼소 시간야코카 나이생오간도 고그쇼테니
Please rise for the recitation of the Shinshu Pledge number 2, found on page 6 of the red Jodo Shinshu service book. That's page 6. Entrusting in the vow of the Buddha,
in the sacred name, I shall
me through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha and reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha and discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding others, I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society.
Please remain standing. Now we're going to the Gatha, found in your Praises of the Buddha book. Page 24, let's sing for all our pets. Buddha loves you. Thank you. Please be seated. That was wonderful. Okay. Reverend Sumikawa will introduce our guest speaker for the Dana Day Pet Memorial Service, Dr. Michael Chang. Reverend.
Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you very much for attending this very special service today. And we do have a very special guest speaker, Dr. Michael Chang. He's very well known throughout the state of Hawaii. He has over 25 years of teaching experience at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. He teaches family resource management and family public policy. And in 2001, he developed a curriculum to train paraprofessionals who care for older adults, and has partnered with county offices on aging and nonprofit agencies in the state of Hawaii to train individuals to work with or care for the elders. His doctorate is in public health with a focus in gerontology. Up until the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Chang was a frequent speaker at Project Dana seminars. This is where I met Dr. Chang. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. When Reverend Sumikawa invited me to do this talk, I was thinking, oh, goody, I get to tell jokes. Anyway, so when I was about first grade, that was when we had our first pet. And the pet came by happenstance. It's not that my parents were looking out to look for a pet for the family, but just that my mom witnessed a little puppy tied to a tree and the neighborhood kids were throwing stones at it. And so my mom rescued the dog, and then it became our family pet. So through the pet, we learned things like compassion and respect and kindness, and that was how pets came into our family. So we became the family that rescued all kinds of animals over the years. So anyway, I looked at the research literature and found that there have been over 150,000 studies done on the benefits of pets, published in all these academic journals, and they talk about all kinds of things that people benefit from. And so I thought I'll talk a little bit about that. And one of the interesting things that came about in the research was that 68% of families in the U.S. has some kind of a pet, mostly dogs and cats, and an occasional hamster and white mice and things like that. And then the industry is a huge industry. Americans spend over $109 billion in pets care, and things like that. And I was thinking, boy, wouldn't that be good to be investing in companies like that? And two other companies that we should be thinking of that are doing really well. One is hair dye companies, and the other one is hearing aids. With all the youngsters who are running around with boom boxes in their ears and trucks. And anyway, here are some of the things that pets have been studied. Pets in hospitals, as in pet therapy, pets have been, or animals have been trained to work with U.S. veterans who went to war and who have PTSD. Pets that have been put into classrooms with children with special needs, all kinds of things. And even pets, for people who have attention deficit disorders, not as young people, but as adults, to help them calm down and to pay attention and focus on things. But also, here are some of the benefits. The studies have found, even though 150,000 different studies, the National Institute of Health still claims that it's inconclusive. We have mixed results, because mostly the studies are small-scale studies and not controlled designs and things like that. So on the one hand, you have a lot of people saying pets are really important and helpful in many ways, and then you have other studies who say we really need to study a lot more. But here are some of the good things that people have documented in the studies. Pet ownership has been linked to better health outcomes in older adults, particularly those with chronic health conditions. And then it has been found to decrease the levels of cortisol, part of the stress-related hormone. Then it helps to lower blood pressure. It helps to reduce loneliness. It helps to increase the feelings of social support. It also helps to boost your mood. Talking about moods and things like that, I have a friend who has since passed away, and she confided in me in a conversation one day, and she said, I had a dog for many years, and when my dog passed away, I think about how I miss my dog, and I really do miss my dog more than I miss my husband. Anyway, so the joy of coming home to a loyal companion. So, dogs and cats, when you come home, they come running up to you. And also, do you know the difference between a dog and a cat? The difference is when your house is being burglarized, the expression on the cat's face is no different. Whereas the dog will be barking at you, and the cat will be saying, "Oh, whatever," So, and the unconditional love that animals give us is really valuable, and it helps to reduce stress, and overall it improves our heart health. And so these are just, a listing of things that has been very helpful in really many, many ways. But here are the things that I want to talk about as it relates to the Buddhist, tradition. So we talk about selfless giving and how selfless giving may be interpreted by you, how you give to the animal. But I think it also works the other way around, how the animal gives back to us. And so the concept is not just about selfless giving, but the concept of interconnectedness and interdependence, how we depend on the animals and how the animals depend on us, how we care for them and in return they care for us. by just being who they are and what they are. And those things, are very valuable in our lives, particularly if we have people who are lonely, who live alone, whose children are no longer living with them. They may be all over the world or across the country, and you have that sense of loneliness and that sense of support is missing. The animals help to fill the void. But the other thing about animals that we have as pets is that it helps us to be mindful and learning how to live in the moment. Sometimes we get caught up in all these things that we do, the rush, of life every day, that we try to get all these things done, but the animals may sometimes help us to put us on a pause and to be thinking about, maybe it's time to take a break and sit down and just enjoy the moment. So little things like this that, we sometimes don't think about. When we think of selfless giving, it's not just us caring about the animals, but the animals caring about us too. So I don't want to go on and talk about all the research things that are boring for the most part. I think I'm going to just end here with a joke, if that's okay with you. So this is a little boy in elementary school, and he is telling his story, and he says, my teacher asked the class what our favorite animal was, and I said fried chicken. She said I wasn't funny when I said that, but she could not have been right because everybody else in class laughed. My parents told me to always tell the truth, and I did. Fried chicken is my favorite animal. I told my dad what happened, and he said the teacher was probably a member of PETA. Yeah. And he said they love animals very much. And I said, I do too, especially chicken, pork, and beef. Anyway, my teacher sent me to the principal's office, and I told him what happened, and the principal laughed too. And then he told me not to do it again. So the next day in class, my teacher asked me what my favorite animal was, and I told her it was chicken. And she asked me why, and I told her that it was because you could make it into fried chicken. She sent me back to the principal's office, and he laughed, and he told me not to do it again. I don't understand. My parents taught me to be honest and tell the truth, but my teacher doesn't like it when I am. So today, my teacher asked me in the class to tell her what famous person we admire most, and I told her Colonel Sanders. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. Okay, please rise for the Gatha in the Brown Book, Praises of Buddha, on page 117, O Light of Asia, 117. And remain standing for the Nembutsu after that, and that's found on page 107.
refuge, ultimate reform. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Please be seated. This concludes today's service. We'll now have announcements. Prudence, do you have the announcements?
Good morning. Nice to see so many of you. Thank you, Dr. Chang. That was a cute joke. You know, each Sunday we have a lot of people volunteering to make the Sunday service work. And if you haven't noticed, we always have an MC. We have a greeter to greet you. And because of COVID now, we have people outside checking to make sure you are fully vaccinated, and then we have an usher to assist you to seat as far distance as we possibly can. And today's help was from Merle, Jerry, Alan, and Cynthia. So thank you. We also have a team every week that provides refreshments for us. And in the past, we were able to sit around and socialize, but now with COVID, it's a takeaway bag, but it's always filled with some good stuff. So if you don't choose to stay around a while, you may help yourself with those bags and leave. And thank you we had 2 pianists today. Wow. Yeah, that, we always need to have, it's nice to have the music. Let's see. And also, if you notice, Ryan is always there recording, because during the pandemic, we weren't able to meet together, and we were putting it on YouTube, and we gained a lot of followers that are not in the state and elsewhere, and they look forward to our services. So these services, as much as possible, is still being recorded and presented on YouTube. So thank you, Ryan. And thanks to all of you for attending today, and part of the offertory, of course, will be going to Project Dana, and to the United BWA. And each year they grant donations to 4 different nonprofits. One is always Project Dana. We used to have a BWA here many years ago, and our group got so small, so we don't participate as a women's group, but we do want to contribute to Project Dana, so we choose this day. Okay, next week we have our Nirvana Day service, and it's the day that Shakyamuni Buddha passed away. So that's another special service, and we will have Mr. Alan Goto here as our guest speaker. So please help yourself to our refreshments, and we hope to see. I forgot. We have to introduce, we do have Project Dana represented here, and so if you can stand up and be recognized. So this is Cindy. She runs Project Dana, and she's been doing that for many years, even from the beginning, although you weren't leading it. You were part of it, as far as I can see. And because of the pandemic, some of us who are volunteers are not able to take care of some of the seniors, but that should soon change, I hope, because I haven't seen my senior lady for months. Okay, any other announcements? Otherwise, thank you again. Thank you, Reverend, and please enjoy.